everybody. It's a new little theme song there, a new little overall look for us. Oh, hey, everybody. Story Motors Podcast, episode 8, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers. That kind of like blurred out like it's illegal because of my background thing. How are you, Mike?
Cheers. I just shook a bottle of pills at the webcam. How do you think I'm doing?
How you doing today, Mike?
Doing pretty good, you know?
Good.
Closer to the week.
Yeah?
My buddy sent me a message today that was just him in his car, which, put a pin in his car. I want to talk about one thing he pointed out to me about his car. But, yeah, he went and picked up Helldivers 2.
Nice.
PS5. So
nice.
we have yet another warm, breathing body to turn into a cold pile of goo on a planet full of bugs and robots. So I'm hyped about that.
I played that for a bit.
Yeah.
Through Steam. I was playing it on my Steam Deck connected to the TV with an Xbox controller. You know, because I'm a rebel like that. I did like one kind of mission thing. It was fun, but I know that you and I can't play it together unless I also actually buy it. So
yeah, that's the rub.
But I mean, it's what, like, isn't it like only like $40, 40 or 50?
That's $40. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I might, if I really enjoy it, I might just pick it up at some point and then we can play it. Because yeah, it seemed like one of those things where, to be completely honest with you, just the way that I game, it seems like something that I will fucking love for a week or two, and then be like, cool, I have it. If I ever want to go back, I'll play it. But like, I'll get like really into it for like a week or two, and then kind of fall off. Yeah. But
I understand that. It's like a pile of games that are just like that, physical copies.
Yeah.
No, quite like that staring you in the face.
Yeah. So playing some Helldivers, and I know you're actually going to be streaming that later on today as we record. But this episode is going to come out on right at the beginning of April, but just a few days short of WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Mike, you going to be watching WrestleMania?
Famous. If I can find a bootleg stream, for sure.
Oh, it's on Peacock. It's on the cock. Both nights on the Peacock. Get a free trial or some shit. I don't know. It'll work on there.
I will go get a free trial just for that.
Get a free trial of the cock. Watch WrestleMania and it's a 2-night thing. It's Saturday and Sunday, and then the Saturday morning, I think actually here it's like 10 a.m. here in Utah. NXT Stand and Deliver. It's like their pay-per-view thing is happening that day too. So, and there's a shitload of indie things happening. I know GCW is doing their Collective, which is like a bunch of indie shows in the same thing, and it's always insane. There's always cool-ass shows going on. So, yeah.
It's gonna be tight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll definitely get the trial of the cock going.
Yeah, get the cock trial and watch WrestleMania. I'm going to be watching it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to be watching WrestleMania.
You gonna find yourself a bootleg stream?
Yeah, a bootleg stream. I'm going to watch it up on the big screen at the Lincoln Financial Field there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Well, holy dog shit. Look at you go.
Yep. Going to be my second WrestleMania this year. I'm fucking excited. Last year was in LA. It was my first WrestleMania. And goddamn, it's one of those things where like unless you're on the floor in like the first couple rows, you're not going to be fucking watching the ring. You're watching the giant screens up there, but it's just that everything, like the entire energy. Yeah, it's insane. And last year, like when at the end of night 2, everyone was so sure that Cody Rhodes was gonna beat Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns won, and that entire arena, like stadium, not even arena, stadium, just you could feel it. Like you could feel that in the air. It was awesome. So this year, I think Cody's gonna finish the story, but we'll see. Got 2 nights. We're going to see The Rock wrestle, so that'll be fun. Ooh. You know, after he came to Utah and called everybody fucking 6 wives with 30 children.
I mean,
not too wrong there. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
ANYWHOOZLE. Anyway, we've got something kind of new that we want to try for the intro. If this doesn't work, we'll cut it. Mike, What
Hmm.
video game world do you want to live in this week?
This week,
What's your heart telling you?
man, this week is it's telling me to just go hang out in the Mushroom Kingdom. You know, just chill out there, stomp some Goombas, eat some mushrooms,
Yeah.
talk to a mushroom.
Yeah.
You know,
Eat a mushroom, get bigger. Eat a
yep.
different mushroom and get like tall and skinny, you know? Because there was that weird
Pick up
one.
a flower and then pick up a flower and be able to throw fire.
Oh,
You
exactly.
know,
Yeah, fireballs are dope.
yeah, exactly. No
Yeah.
real consequences. So yeah, no, sign me up for that.
Yeah, let's move to the Mushroom Kingdom. Let's be, I don't know, real estate agents in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah,
Want to do that?
perfect.
We'll get our real estate
Real
licenses
estate.
and our MLS numbers and
Mhm.
make some, make some good money. Just
Seriously,
selling houses to Toad.
just just price the toads out of their own homeland.
Gonna gentrify that fucking Mushroom Kingdom.
You ever seen a Panera in Mushroom Kingdom? About to see
You
six.
will fucking soon.
You're gonna see a ton. Fuck you.
All right, so we're moving to the Mushroom Kingdom to be real estate
Yes,
agents
I love it.
and
Love it.
probably start a church.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Listen, we're gonna get on all the scams, all the
yeah,
hustles.
all the hustles, all the schemes. Mike,
Yep.
that brings us to
Yes.
today's theme. What are we doing? We're getting right into it this week.
Yes. We, because one of us is going to Philadelphia for WrestleMania, we decided we are going to discuss some other epic matches that you may have seen, you may have participated in yourself in video games. We are talking about boss fights tonight.
Boss fights and what we're gonna do. Couple different ways to do this. I believe Mike has basically made like a WrestleMania card of boss fights. Cool as
Mm-hmm.
shit. I'm gonna try to connect them to actual WrestleMania matches, and I've actually made a list with some boss fights that I compared directly to WrestleMania matches. So yeah, got a couple of cool different things here tonight for WrestleMania season.
A
So
couple different ways to crack them up. We wound up at the same place.
we said WrestleMania and boss fights, and now they're together.
Here we are.
So yeah, scissor
Mhm.
me daddy ass.
There we go.
Awesome, awesome. So Mike has been telling me that he's been doing his homework.
I
So
actually did. So a
yeah.
little peek behind the curtain here. Um, I know the topics ahead of time,
Oh yeah, we
and
both do.
like it's not like I don't have time to do this. Well, I mean, I could find time to do this, but I don't. So usually it is 15, 20 minutes before we start recording. I am hurriedly putting things into a Google Doc, which is how we wound up with a shot for shot remake of Daredevil
Daredevil
featuring.
last week. If you missed that, please
Yep.
go back and listen to Yoshi
Yeah.
Yoshi Devil.
Yeah. So
I don't
go
think we
ahead
got a
and go
name,
back and
but
listen. We didn't. It
Super
doesn't
Mario
matter.
Brothers 2 Yoshi's Story.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Uh, he's Manhattan Island.
Uh,
Oh, but
so
yeah, so I actually took some time, searched my soul because these are all boss fights that I have done.
mhm.
So I didn't go, pull these off of somebody's like 10 best boss fights list because
Yeah.
I looked at there's a lot of games I have not played. A
Yeah.
lot of games I haven't even heard of.
I'll be honest,
Shout out to the
all of
nerds.
mine are boss fights that I've done, but most of them. But I did like look up, just to try to get more, background information from what I, have forgotten over the years.
Yes, some of
But
these I have not done these some of these boss fights in a good 2 decades. So I
yeah,
had to go back and look up some things. So anyway, so here we go. We're
let's get
opening
started.
tonight. First match, it sets the tone. You know?
Yeah, if you're not
Is
the
it
main
gonna
event,
be
you want to be the opener.
exactly
So,
with on a record, escape video, WrestleMania, you want to be the opener, the closer, or as close to the closer as you can possibly be.
meh, maybe not right before the closer.
Yeah, not right before, but I mean,
Yeah,
if you can like
yeah.
build into something
Well, to be
and just like,
honest, and I'm thinking of last year. Um, WWE is a bit different now than it was even, I would say, 3 4 years ago. Because of
no,
who's now actually in charge of creative. We don't need to go into who was in charge, but
we're not we're not
for
gonna get bogged.
years it was that thing where you had you had a pretty good opener, and then you had some other matches. You had like a kind of a big match in the middle, and then
Yeah,
you had like the nicest way to say it, a fucking filler match right before the main event. You
it
know,
had some dudes.
yeah, you had some dudes, or to be completely honest, you had they just put like a women's match there because they didn't give a shit at the time. So fuck them. Um, but if I remember last year and kind of what it is now is it's more of like the what you would kind of say like for like a traditional sporting thing where you've got the undercard, you've got something really really big at the beginning usually, and then you've got the undercard, and then the last couple matches, the last 3 or 4 matches are just your big main events back to back to back to back. So
Yeah,
that's neither here nor there. I'm just a nerd when it
it's,
comes to wrestling.
yeah, it's all right. So I, that is important context, and yeah, no, this is kind of definitely in the. I feel we start off strong,
Hmm.
and then something happens, and then halfway through the card, it starts ramping up, and
Okay.
then end of the night, fucking blowing off tits, blowing off dicks. Like that's what we're doing.
Tits and dicks blowing off. Yep.
Mind blown. Go ahead and grab a bucket for that brain of yours. Anyway, yeah, so that opening match, like, it sets the tone for the rest of the night. Like, is it going to be just boring? Is this like, are you showing up with your strongest foot forward and then it's just going to be weak the rest of the night? Like, what's going on? But sometimes you want something that's kind of out there, a little twisty, a little turny,
Hmm.
kind of get everybody excited for one thing and then just juke them left and have everybody guessing. That's what this boss fight was. This is boss fight. Not a lot of people, well, some people may not have gotten here in their first couple of playthroughs, but this is Legionnaire Legate in Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I went with the I'm going to buddy up to the NCR and then at the last minute unleash the robot horde upon
Hmm.
everyone. Just say, fuck it, this is the wasteland now, deal with it, not my problem. You know? So going that route or going with the NCR route, you have to interact with Caesar's Legion or Caesar,
Kaisar's
however the
Legion.
hell they do
Awe.
it. And his right hand man, his muscle, Legionnaire Legate, he tries to strong arm you, intimidate you at various points throughout the game.
And it works. I'll be
But
honest. He's fucking
yeah, it
terrifying.
really does.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying, insanely strong. But you can do a very Fallout thing. You can defeat him with your word, which is again, there are two ways to crack this nut. It is like you can brute force this thing, or you can max out your speech stat, which doesn't really come in handy all that often. I found out once you get to a certain point,
Hmm.
you know. But if you have maxed out speech, you can talk him down out of this fight and not have to get the living shit kicked out of you and blow through all of your stim packs. So,
I
yeah, no, just yeah,
I'm trying to think because I've definitely done that one myself, but I usually do max out my speech anyway. Just because that's
yeah.
that's kind of how I like to play. I like to play with like I usually do like a high charisma build with like speech and barter and shit. But
Yeah, yeah. I started another playthrough where I'm going the opposite way. Just big dumb lummox punches his way through the wasteland.
yeah,
So yeah, my goal in that playthrough is to get power armor as soon as I possibly can, and then just lay waste to everybody that crosses me. But no, so that was a fun boss fight. That for a while I tried to crack that nut with the biggest hammer I had, and it kept cracking my hammers. So, speech that, and here we are. I feel that's a really good opener because you're looking at it, thinking it's going to go one way, and then, what's this? Oh, is this the fastest match in WrestleMania history? What the hell's going on here?
Is this
What
Daniel
else is in
Bryan
store?
versus Sheamus? Opener of WrestleMania 28? 27? I forget the exact WrestleMania, but Daniel Bryan versus Royal Rumble winner Sheamus was the opener, and it lasted 18 seconds.
Yeah, just like rolled him up, didn't he?
Yeah, well, no, it was a match. The bell rang. Daniel Bryan turned around and kissed his girlfriend AJ Lee, and then he turned around into a brogue kick and got pinned.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So it's actually good that we're talking about this because that might come into something that I bring up later.
Oh. Right. Well, there's my opening match. Just starting off with just an absolute out of left field twist.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was that fucking the speech check on that is it's insane that they just let you do that.
Yeah. And
for
it's one of those,
quote unquote the final boss, and you're just like, hey, maybe you shouldn't. He's like, nah, you're probably right.
Yeah. And it's one of those you can still screw it up. Like you can choose the wrong dialogue option and then get beat about the head and face by a giant man in armor who has a giant hammer. So,
yeah,
like you can go in there with all the confidence and speech checks in the world. If you choose the wrong option, you're done for.
Yeah, you're still fucked.
Yep. Oof.
Oof. Let's see
Scraping you off them canyon
walls. So what have you got after the Leggett fight?
That so, I'm gonna be honest with you. My card is only 5 matches deep. So
that's kind of what a lot of the PLEs, because they're not pay-per-views anymore. They're PLEs, premium live events.
Oh boy.
A lot of them are only 5, maybe 6 matches now. WrestleMania, I think, might go up to 7 per night.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah, but back in the day, the fucking WrestleMania card was 16 matches, and 3 of them went over 9 minutes. So, yeah.
Good old days. Anyway, so you gotta have something else on the card. It can't just be all singles matches. So this is, this is kind of like a multi-man tag event. Just like big squads of dudes on either side of the ring, just hurling themselves at each other. And this is what I have done several times. I kind of want to do it again now that we've got buddies with good internet and who have picked up Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Okay.
The boss I'm talking about is Diablo, the final boss of the original Diablo 2. And this is just like, it is wave after wave. It's almost just like you're the first man in the Royal Rumble, and you just keep throwing out as they just keep coming in. That's kind of what this boss fight is. You fight your way to hell. You fight your way through hell to his sanctuary, and then you have to unlock, or you have to trip 5 seals. You have to break 5 seals. Every time you do that, stronger and stronger enemies just show up to wreck your shit and kill off most of your party. So, gotta have that emergency town portal.
Yeah.
People can come back and get their corpses, get equipped, and then die immediately. So, yeah. And then, when you unlock the 5th seal, screen shakes, hear Diablo say something I cannot remember for the life of me, because I'm always just like, holy shit, where's he coming from?
Probably just get off my lawn.
Insane. Something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't order no, shit like that. I don't know.
I'm not tipping!
He is incredibly fast and incredibly strong. So if you're not paying attention, because he can come at you from a couple of different ways. So if you're like, I'm going to head him off at the pass, and then you get tapped on the shoulder. And by tapped on the shoulder, I mean claws down your back and half your health's gone.
Yeah.
So this is kind of more of a straightforward, like classic slobber knocker. You've been pre-gaming. You're at your peak. Just want to see some dudes just beat the shit out of each
Just dudes beating the shit out
other.
of each other with weapons, maybe giant metal things
Yeah.
with a single
Ladders. No.
prize at the end.
Yes.
Let's go with what used to be a WrestleMania staple and now has its own pay-per-view, Money in the Bank. How about that? The
Hey,
Money in the
that's
Bank
great.
fucking 8, 9, 10-person ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
you're
kind
not, I
of
mean, you're
what
not
this
a
is
team,
because,
but it's, just fucking chaos, chaos, chaos.
well, so I will say this. So in the original Diablo 2, whatever loot dropped, it didn't do the whole like, oh, it dropped enough for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
He dropped a certain amount of things, and he could drop some incredibly rare items. If he dropped one of those incredibly rare items and you were not Johnny on the spot, that briefcase ain't yours. You can't cash that in for a title shot.
There we go.
It
Money
belongs
in
to
the
somebody
Bank.
else. Yep.
Money in the
That
Bank.
is
Perfect.
good, man. Alrighty. So now we got that out of the way. We got our prerequisite dudes match.
Dudes being
Some
dudes.
guys being bros. Now we're getting into something a little more tricky. One of those kind of weird rules matches.
Okay.
So, like falls count anywhere. Like best of 3 falls. Stuff like that. This is kind of where like I'm starting to build towards that end because we're here at the middle. So we got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Peaked, down a bit. Now we're on the rise. Boss fight I chose to put in this slot is the boss fight in Batman Arkham City where you fight Mr. Freeze.
Ooh. Oh, that is a good fucking
Right?
match. That's a good fight. That's a
Uh,
great boss fight.
it took me so long to crack that nut because here's how
Yeah.
it works. If you play the game, one, go do that because it is a fucking amazing game. Batman Arkham City, I love that game so much. It's one of the few physical Xbox 360 games I keep in my house just on principle.
Yeah.
So what happens is, you come into a room and there's Mr. Freeze. And, cutscene, talking, whatever. And then if you're me, you swing up to one of the perches up there, up to the upper part of the arena there, and then you swing down, get a shot on Mr. Freeze, and you're just like, all right, just got to do this 5, 6 more times, and away we go. No, he freezes all of the perches up there. Congratulations, you've just lost verticality. Have fun. And there are 5 different ways to take him down. Every time you use one, he takes it away.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. And he's a big plotting bad guy, and you're a far more agile thing. But man, once you kind of get down to those last couple, you're just like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing here? Like, it gets kind of stressful, but it's such a good fight.
Yeah.
God, I wish I had a fucking Xbox with a physical disc drive now. Want to play it?
I have. I think I won it from somewhere, or it was just on sale for like really cheap. But I bought the Return to Arkham collection on
Huh?
Xbox, and Arkham City is the game that it's just always installed.
Yeah.
Because I'll jump into it occasionally, and just try to go a little bit further in the story or go a little bit further in the game.
Oh yeah. No, it's
But,
so good. Like,
yeah.
the game is so good.
I'm trying to
That
think
boss
of
fight,
a match to compare that to.
yeah. Yeah, see, because it's like you do have other kind of boss fights where they might like take away something, but it's just like they take away the one thing, and it's just like figure it out.
Yeah.
This is every time you do something, the boss responds. So it's just like kind of a wacky, like not wacky, but like it is not your standard thing. So this is where it kind of threw me as far as like what match could this possibly be. This is what pivoted me to just build the card. So
Like a match comes to mind where a wrestler kind of has a plan to do something and then that's taken away and he loses because of that, but it's only one, it's not 5 different things. That might be the closest that we're going to get to.
Okay.
And also in this one, Dr. Freeze wins.
Oh,
And I'm thinking
Well, to be fair,
I'm thinking
a
the
lot of my Dr.
WWE.
Freeze won.
Yeah, Dr. Freeze won multiple times.
Listen, my winning percentage against the old against Mr. Freeze, Victor Vaughn, is not great. But I got that one dub, and that's all that mattered.
But I'm thinking of WrestleMania 20, which
Okay.
only has one main event, and it's this match. Don't look into it. No other ones. Nobody won the Royal Rumble that year either. It was crazy. But for the WWE Championship, it was Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero. And
Oh.
Kurt Angle's thing that he would go to, one of his moves was the ankle lock. And he was trying to hit it, throughout the match and everything. And Eddie Guerrero, a known cheater, lies, he cheats, he steals. Love you, bro. Did a thing where he knew that the ankle lock was coming, and he untied his boot. And when Eddie Guerrero went and got him in the ankle lock, he slipped the boot off and kind of did, if I remember correctly, did like a surprise roll up and won.
Oh,
And that's how he beat Kurt Angle. So Dr. Freeze won in that one, but I think we all won in the end.
we did. Anytime you give Eddie Guerrero that dub, come on.
Yeah. Fuck, Eddie Guerrero was so good. God damn it.
Fucking was.
Yeah, there's a... So, I say the thing about the main event. On WWE does all of their stuff with Fanatics now. Like all of, like the shirts and everything and all the WrestleMania gear. And they made these kind of like this series of like posters for different WrestleManias. And on the poster, it had the main events for that WrestleMania. So it was like last year was a little bit different because it was like the big poster of it. So it was like Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns on the very top, and then you had some other people, and it was like WrestleMania 39 main event, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. And they had a couple years ago when it was Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and that was on the poster. They had WrestleMania 9 where the main event was Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. Yokozuna won, and then Hulk Hogan came out for some fucking reason, and Mr. Fuji challenged him to a match right then and there for Yokozuna's title, and Hulk won. It's fucking stupid. So it has those three on it, and it says Bret Hart, Yokozuna, Hulk Hogan, Yokozuna. But they have one for WrestleMania 20, and it's the opening match, which is Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero for the title, because they couldn't do the actual main event of that show, which was Triple H versus, I want to say, either Batista or Randy Orton. And I honestly cannot remember. Oh, no. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus Chris Benoit.
Oh, God. Yeah. Definitely can't.
Yeah, so you can't really put that on a poster these days.
I mean, you can if your entire market is just shitty, edgy dudes. Then yeah, go right ahead. But yeah, nah. Definitely cannot do that one. God damn.
Let me let me throw one in here in your card. Maybe we'll just we'll put these together. We'll make an 8-match card or something. 9-match card.
Yeah.
So
back in the old days,
like the old days, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking main events.
My last two could have either one of them could have been the main event.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So this one, I'm gonna go through the boss fight. I'll see if you can tell me what match I'm thinking of, and then I'll go through what the match is. Okay. Because in my list I've got the actual boss fights, and then I've got a listed match that I kind of compare that to. So my first match.
Real quick, this is going to be hilarious because here's the thing about me and wrestling. I've always liked it, but man, there was a while where I just it would be on and it would be on in the background for me, but storylines, who people were, like, whatever. So this is going to be one of those. You're going to just see me just
like, I don't know.
Oh no,
Hulk Hogan? I don't know. But maybe this one we'll see. So the boss fight itself. is Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC, and it's the final boss encounter where you fight the Horus, which is a giant corruptor robot that's fucking massive, like size of a mountain. And then you've got like another boss fight inside, the person that's doing it. So the Horus is in view in the mountains, like literally broken down in the mountains from the beginning of the DLC. So you see it and you're like, that's what I want. I want that fight. I want that right there. And as you're seeing it throughout the oh shit, I gotta send a text. As you're seeing it throughout the DLC, that just builds and builds. Where you're like, I need this fight. I want this fight. I need this fight. So, and in the entire like DLC, especially with this fight, you're Aloy. You are the main character of Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon Zero Dawn, which if you haven't played those games, incredible games. Sorry. I meant to send this text earlier, and I've got to do it now. Okay. So the deck is stacked against you in this fight, because once again, you are one Aloy versus this giant fucking robot and the person inside controlling it. So yeah, the deck is stacked against you. The fight is multi-staged. So there's different, basically components of the fight, incorporating just like doing attacks. Part of the fight is the you fuck up the thing to make it kind of start overheating. So then the person who's controlling it is like walking it out into the ocean so it cannot overheat, because that's the only way to make this thing not overheat. So part of the fight is you taking out the like the heat sinks on the thing. So even if it goes out to water, it can't fucking do anything. And that also incorporates like platforming, because you have to fucking climb on this thing to get to these other heat sinks.
Like
and then when you finally kind of like a Shadow Colossus type thing, but instead of just one thing that you stab, it's you just have multiple things. But yeah, when you finally defeat it, you actually enter the Horus. At this point, it's kind of in the water, and you swim up into the Horus, and you have a final fight with the main antagonist of the DLC. His name is Walter Londra. Londra is a human from pre-Pharaoh plague, which is the plague that initially destroyed the Earth and caused, the Armageddon that caused the robots to kill all the humans before, humans were. The whole point of the story is 1,000 years ago, humans died off, and now this is kind of humans rebuilding everything, and you are Aloy, one of those people. So Londra is a pre-Pharaoh plague asshole who came back to Earth after being away for 1,000 years, who assumed that he would just take his place at the top of the food chain. There's a whole thing of space travel, and they got off the Earth and they went to a planet. It's a great story. I love stories I love games with dumbass stories like this. They're incredible. And after a grueling fight with the Horus, you then have to fight Londra, who's just as powerful. With Aloy having to overcome his near invincibility, because he's got like an invincibility suit that's been keeping him alive this whole time, to finally take him down and be, save the world. So that is the Horus Londra fight in Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores.
Oh, damn. All right. Pretty solid fight.
I will give you a hint.
Yeah?
I may have mentioned that I would be bringing up this person during one of your things there. Your first one, I believe.
I love that you think I'm going to remember that.
Yeah.
It's been 30 minutes, buddy. What makes you think I'm going to remember that shit? God.
Let me know when you're tapping out.
I'm just trying to think.
Let's see. It was 10 years ago, WrestleMania 30, if that helps. I don't know if it will, but...
It does not help. Okay. No, it definitely does not help. No.
So...
There's a hard line in the sand. And... Yeah, 10 years is on the other side of that line. So...
Okay. Well, let me read you what I wrote about the Mania event. The build-up to WrestleMania 30 was unprecedented. Legitimately, it's one of the first times that kind of social media and like a public outpouring kind of changed WrestleMania. The ultimate fan favorite of the year, Daniel Bryan, wasn't even in that year's Royal Rumble match. To the point where
Okay.
when number 30 hit, it was Rey Mysterio, who, even like
Uh,
like a lot of non-wrestling fans will know who Rey Mysterio is, and just
oh, yeah.
because, but Rey Mysterio is the constant good guy. Everybody fucking loves him. He came out at number 30 in this Royal Rumble and got booed out of the building. And you could tell he
Jesus.
was like, the fuck? And it was the crowd booing him because Daniel Bryan wasn't in the match. Um, but that match was won by Batista, a returning Dave Batista.
Huh.
The Mania event, that WrestleMania event, was the Horus in the distance, the thing that everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to conquer. And then throughout, the road to WrestleMania, every time you kept seeing it, it kept getting bigger and bigger, and you wanted it more and more. In order to do that, Daniel Bryan had to go through a bunch of shit, and the storyline was that the corporation, I forget the exact name of it, but like the head, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, thought of Daniel Bryan as a B plus player, and were essentially like, you're not the guy that needs to be at the top of this company, so we're going to do everything we can to not like, you're here, you're never going to be here. So they were referring to him as a B plus player. And he rallied the audience on his side, essentially taking over the WWE with what's called the Yes Movement. And there's a very famous scene of fans literally jumping the barricade, like obviously plants jumping into the ring, and Daniel Bryan's like basically forces Triple H's hand, and he's like, I want you at WrestleMania, and if I beat you, I want you to add me to that main event, which at the time was Batista versus Randy Orton. And with this Yes Movement and the crowd behind him and everything, finally Triple H agreed, and he said whoever wins the match is going to be in the main event. So the main event's going to be a triple threat. It's going to be Batista, Randy Orton against either Triple H, with Triple H or Daniel Bryan. So the deck stacked against Bryan. He wins that first match, which was this crazy. The deck is stacked against him, multiple things against him. Triple H beating the hell out of him. He wins the match. Triple H beats him down some more. And he was set to be in the main event of the night, which was the Laundra fight. And I wrote here, he won the match and was set for a final fight against a pre-Daniel Bryan era asshole who came back to WWE after being away for a millennia, and the champion Randy Orton, in a triple threat match, who assumed he would just come back and take his place at the top of the food chain like Walter Laundra. And after an incredible match with some fucking crazy bumps in it, Daniel Bryan overcame the near invincibility of half of Evolution, Batista and Randy Orton, to finally reach the summit, become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and the WrestleMania goes off air with him holding storyline. There were 2 belts at the time, holding both belts, and there's fucking confetti, and it's an incredible sight, and an incredible WrestleMania main event.
Hell yeah. Fucking epic. Epic evening.
So, yeah. Horizon Forbidden West's DLC compared to Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania 30 story.
I love it. It's a hell of a match.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get your next match here, or your next boss fight.
Next boss fight. Oof. This is kind of ramping this up where previous match, yeah, like weird, wacky rules, something different. Got you thinking. 2 legends holding down the middle of the card. What else could you possibly do? Oh, I know. Another legend. And somebody backed by another legend to do something incredibly legendary. Do something fucking out there that I, at the time, had never seen. I am talking about the boss fight with Psycho Mantis and Metal Gear Solid.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Metal Gear Solid, the original on the PlayStation.
Yes. This boss fight was so good, I ignored a car crash that happened in front of my house. Like, that's how good this fight was.
Yeah.
And, like, Kojima, like, he is amazing at what he does. Like, this is just an amazing boss fight, an amazing game. Like, So starts off, you go into this office. There is Naomi Hunter. You've been, dealing with her, like trying to keep her out of trouble, have her help you take down whatever the fuck is going on. Spoiler alert, turns out it's Liquid Snake in the Rex.
All the fucking snakes. It's
So,
all the snakes.
all
I'm
the
tired of these
snakes.
motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking Gear Solid. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear? I don't know.
So, whatever. So, yeah, she's there. She's acting weird. She's doing funny, weird, goofy shit. She comes on to you in a very aggressive manner, and you rebuff her because you know something's wrong.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, floating dude in a gimp suit. Oh, it's Psycho Mantis. Screen goes black. A little thing in the corner pops up, says Hideo, and then he starts talking shit because what has just happened is it read your memory card and is looking at your game saves and is taunting you. And then you're doing the fight, and it's like, this is the ultimate form of the game is cheating.
Yeah.
The game kind of was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it knows what you're doing because there is enough of a delay between your inputs and then what happens on the screen that the game can figure out, like, oh, this mean, whatever. It reads your controller inputs so Psycho Mantis can, like, rebuff your attacks. It's insane. Oh, by the way, Naomi's there. You have to incapacitate her, or else she's just gonna get in the damn way and get her face blown off. Like, it is such an insane boss fight with just those things.
Just an
when
insane
you
meta
realize-
boss fight doing things that you'd never
Yeah.
seen before.
Yeah, and then like you finally realize, you hear from your buddy, because this is 98.
Mm-hmm.
Reddit's not there. The wider internet's not there. You might find something on IGN, but odds are your buddy tells you, oh yeah, take your controller, pull it out of the first player slot, put it into the second one. Won't read that one. So suddenly you've got the upper hand again.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a good boss fight. Like, this one could have been my headliner, but there was another one that I had to go with my heart on. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, man, so good.
So this is a boss fight that I know about, but I'd never done. I never played Metal Gear Solid. I didn't have it when it was on like PlayStation 1, and then when like Sons of Liberty came out on the PS2, I think I don't remember. I just never got into the series. But I know of this boss fight and the meta fucking nature of it reading your save and having to fucking change the controller. And you actually helped me because I had a WrestleMania match in mind, and I was trying to think of the perfect match to compare it to, and this is it.
What do you got?
There has never been a more meta, insane WrestleMania match than the Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania 36 or 37. It was the pandemic WrestleMania where there was nobody in the audience, like they were just in a thing, and it was the Firefly Funhouse match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena. And if you have not watched this match, holy fuck. It's most of the WrestleMania card that year is just, it's matches in a ring. This one is what's called the cinematic match. And the whole point, like the whole thing of the match is, like the way it's built out is essentially Bray Wyatt is walking John Cena through his own career. So like the match starts, and then it kind of cuts to John Cena and his what was he, the prototype is what his gimmick was in like the developmental, and then it cuts to him like in his debut, and he's wearing his like gear from his debut on SmackDown where he came out and he challenged Kurt Angle. And then it goes through like, the Thugonomics era, and then it even switches where it's like he's basically like showing John Cena like, this is your career, this is what you could have been, to the point where John Cena comes out as essentially fucking NWO Hulk Hogan. He's got the NWO gear, he's got the belt, and he's doing all this shit. And the whole match is just getting into John Cena's head and the audience's head, because it's just like, you're like, this, you're doing shit that you're not supposed to do in a wrestling match. And it's incredible. And honestly, like, even if you don't like, if you're watching, listening to this, and you don't like wrestling, look up the Firefly Funhouse match because there's honestly not a lot of wrestling in it, but it's just insane to watch and just a good story. But the Psycho Mantis fight, with it reading your save card and
Memory
like
card, yeah.
the controller inputs and everything, like that's not the way that boss fights are supposed to happen in games.
No,
And
it's not. It is.
you're not ready for it, right?
Oh man, God, now I'm just like trying to find like a full match of this thing on YouTube.
Yeah,
full.
find it. If not, I mean, I can. You can watch like the replay of that WrestleMania. That was actually that was the first WrestleMania that I had tickets to.
Hell yeah!
Which once again, I believe it was 30. It was either 36 or 37. And then we had tickets to it at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida.
Ooh.
And
Yep.
the beginning of, I think, March, because it was the beginning of April, and the beginning of March, they're like, everything's shut down. We're not doing anything. There's not going to be a WrestleMania crowd because of COVID. So, yeah. Before you get to your main event,
Yeah.
let me do another one here. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, fire away, buddy.
Okay. This is a fight where if I get details wrong, I've never played this game, so I don't know exactly. I looked it up a little bit to try to figure it out. And I kind of got some cliff notes. So if it's a bit wrong, who fucking cares? We're only having fun here.
Yeah.
The game, little known indie game by a company called Squaresoft named Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
Okay. I've played a bit of Remake. I've watched a bit of Rebirth, and I know the characters and everything. The characters, the background, I might be a little off on. But if I know correctly, Sephiroth and Cloud used to be kind of together, like, well, not together, but like working together in Soldier.
Yes, they were both in Soldier.
Yes, and Sephiroth was like
looked up to
the shit, and Cloud looked up to him.
Yeah, he was the guy.
Yeah, he was the guy. People looking up to him, everyone's behind him. And then, from what I, gather, he learns about his past and who he actually is.
Yes.
Yeah, he learns who he actually
go
is.
To the details.
Yeah, well, yeah. We should have fucking said at the beginning of this, we're spoiling shit. But
oh god, yeah, like
yeah.
Sorry for whatever.
Yeah, he learns something about himself, and he decides that he's better than everybody else in the world, and that everybody else is beneath him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Am I pretty spot on here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it is one of those, like, kind of,
a very simplified way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So his former friend, someone that definitely looked up to him, Cloud, has, after a long time built his way up, and he finally has to take down Sephiroth in what you've got to imagine is a very emotional fight for him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. His former friend, someone he looked up to, turned his back on humanity. Cloud had to defeat him to bring him basically back to Earth and end his reign of terror.
Mm-hmm.
A former hero turns against everybody, and a rising person from his past has to take him down. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe Cloud Strife would be referred to as a B+ player that has to take down the former great who is now turned into an evil bastard. Not just that different.
Humanity.
Not that different from Kofi Mania.
Oh,
WrestleMania 35.
Fucking Kofi Mania, baby.
Kofi Mania. The storyline here, this shouldn't have happened. All right.
It should not have happened. It was
legitimately not even just like that's weird that it shouldn't have happened. The month before WrestleMania is a pay-per-view called Elimination Chamber, and that year the winner was going on to WrestleMania to wrestle Daniel Bryan, who at that point was the WWE champion. And at that point, he had turned his back on the audience. He had turned his back on the Yes movement, deciding that because he was the greatest wrestler ever, everybody else was beneath him. He was referring to himself as the new Daniel Bryan. He was the champion. I don't know if you remember this, but he won the title and then he threw the belt in the trash because it was made of leather and metal, and he produced like a hemp wood WWE championship belt. And it was insane. Like, that was his whole thing, was like, everybody else is fucking up the environment. I'm the only person that can save the world. Fuck all you people. And at the Elimination Chamber match that year, Kofi Kingston wasn't in it. It was I forget everybody else in it because it doesn't really matter, but there was a wrestler in it called Mustafa Ali who was supposed to be in the match and got injured. And like at the very last minute. So to replace him, like they kind of, I think what happened is they kind of looked online, or like they just saw people being like, hey, you should put Kofi Kingston in that match. Kofi Kingston has been around for over like 10 years. He's a crowd favorite. People love him. At this point, he's part of the New Day with Xavier Woods and Big E, and they're, you know, this massively over group. And kind of the thing was, hey, put Kofi Kingston in this match. He deserves a chance. And then Kofi, if I remember correct, no, sorry, the match wasn't to wrestle Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. It was for the title, so Daniel Bryan was in the match. And Kofi Kingston was put into the match, and he was, I believe, one of the, either the last or second to last, eliminated by Daniel Bryan. And the crowd, you know, the crowd was like, oh, Kofi Kingston's dope as shit. That's way too bad. And it kind of turned into the WrestleMania 30 thing with the Yes movement and everything, where the crowd just got behind Kofi Kingston to the point where WWE like just, they couldn't ignore it, because if they put anybody else in that spot, it would get ugly. So the storyline then was Kofi Kingston trying to earn his, like, a match against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and Daniel Bryan being like, look, man, you're just a B+ player. You're never going to be, like, you're not at this level. You can't do this. And the storyline going up to that WrestleMania was incredible. And one of the big things that I remember, and I actually watched a replay of this yesterday, or it was yesterday or the day before, I was watching WrestleMania, and this popped up on Twitter, where his partners in the New Day, Daniel Bryan, who for some reason had this control, was like, if Kofi wants to go to Mania to wrestle me, the New Day has to win this series, like this gauntlet tag match. And if you don't win this gauntlet match against like 4 or 5 other teams, Kofi's out of the main event. Kofi's out of this match. And they win, I think, 2 or 3 matches in a row. And then next up is a team that they've wrestled multiple times and they've had incredible matches against at the time. And at the time were the tag team champions, the Usos. And there's like, it's for as silly as wrestling is, it was such an emotional, like, almost human thing where the New Day is like beaten down. They've won a few matches and they're kind of catching their breath. The Usos come out, they do their whole entrance, and they get on the mic and they're like, you know what? Kofi's got our respect. He's got the respect of this audience. He's got the respect of everybody in the back. So good luck. We forfeit. And they leave the ring. And then I think the New Day had one more match after that. But, you know, just that, like, I'm saying it now, I'm getting chills. It was insane. Finally, you know, everything works. Kofi goes to WrestleMania. And everybody behind him, and it's called Kofi Mania for a fucking reason. He wins the match. And the crowd goes insane. And his family is in the front row. He grabs his kids, brings them into the ring. Xavier Woods is like, I've got a present. You know, I brought a thing out in case you win, which turned out to be like shirts. And they were like New Day shirts with him holding the belt. And then to get the belt, Xavier Woods picked up the hemp one, threw it to the ground, and like unveiled the actual belt, and then brought it back. So he's celebrating. Xavier Woods is crying like crazy. Big E's crying. Like, everybody's crying. There's videos of like other wrestlers watching it that are, there's a really great clip of MVP and Shad Gaspard, who is now passed away. And like, they were at a bar watching this together, and Like, the video is them, they watch the match, he wins, and they just kind of look at each other like it happened. And getting a little too deep for this silly video game thing. But
So,
Kofi is Cloud,
oh,
Daniel Bryan is Sephiroth. Kofi wins the title, Kofi Mania for life. And then he lost the title in 3 seconds to Brock Lesnar on a SmackDown, and that was horse shit.
well, yeah, but I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's tragedy.
Kofi Mania.
Fucking Kofi Mania. So
Okay, I think we got a couple more in this, right?
yeah, well, I'm on my headliner.
You're on your headliner, and I think I have on one headliner too.
Yeah, well, I mean, my headliner is what you just talked about, but I kind of want to is
it
battle between. So in the game, you deal with Sephiroth like over the 120 fucking hours you have to put into Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
You deal with Sephiroth several times, like in both the he's just talking to you, you know, what is this Genova? I want to see my mother, and then he rips the thing off and he sees Genova, and it's just like, oh my god,
yeah.
I was birthed from a god, therefore, and then he kills Aerith, which fucking spoiler alert, but goddamn, there's a whole generation of us traumatized.
Wait, who did he kill?
He killed Aerith. Aerith.
Yeah, get it fucking right.
Yeah,
it's Aerith.
Okay. Alrighty.
There's one thing I know about her. Her name is fucking Aerith because that's what she was called in Kingdom Hearts because they fixed the translation. All right?
The translation wasn't terrible.
Go fuck yourself. Fuck you.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too, buddy. But yeah, like you've gone through so much. Like there was already that history, and then like Cloud's opening up. He's falling in love, and then fucking run through with a goddamn 12-foot katana.
Once again, that's like a thing where I haven't played Final Fantasy VII. I've only played 2 Final Fantasies to completion, giggity. 7's not one, but I know the visual of Sephiroth. She's kneeling, she's like praying, I believe, and he just comes down and he's like, "No, you're fucking not."
Done. Yeah, and it is just brutal. Especially like the events leading up to that. You're just like, oh no, But yeah, and then so it's not just I am trying to take him down to get petty revenge. It is, oh, he wants to heal the Earth.
Yeah.
Like other like Japanese antagonists in Japanese media wanted to heal the Earth. Char Aznable in Mobile Suit Gundam comes to mind because he wanted to just rain shit down upon the Earth, force everyone to leave, force a nuclear winter, and let the Earth heal itself.
Yeah, because that worked out in fucking Fallout, didn't it, bud?
Hey, listen.
Worked in Far Cry New Dawn.
Listen. The Republic of Xeon blew Sydney clean off the map. That's helping things, all right? No, that is okay, side note. That is a fun little Easter egg in every Gundam series. If you look at a map of the world, like if somebody has it just in the background, not even like the Universal Century timeline, but other timelines, Australia is there. And there's a hole where Sydney is supposed to be. So like in every timeline, Sydney does not exist.
Maybe we'll do a Gundam related episode one day, and maybe we'll have a special guest on for that one.
That would be so much fun.
OMG, right? OMG.
Yeah. Anyway, so the final boss fight with Sephiroth, it is like a classic JRPG 3-stage boss fight. So first you fight Genova, then you fight Sephiroth in kind of human form, and then he comes back as a one-winged angel.
Kenny Omega.
Right? Yeah. And then, so technically you fight him 3 times in this boss fight, but really the only actual combat you do is uh, Genova, him, and then One-Winged Angel, him. And by the way, One-Winged Angel is a fucking banger of a song.
Oh god, yeah.
So
That's another thing that I know of is that song is fucking incredible. Yeah,
yeah, you know it even if you don't know it. Like
yeah,
you've heard it.
yeah,
So yeah, like the final actual like the last stage of the fight, it's scripted. You cannot possibly lose.
yeah.
But yeah, after 120 fucking hours dealing with saving the earth, dealing with your past, opening up and, becoming a warm, caring human being, riding giant chickens around, finding yet another Sid in a Final Fantasy game. Because that was another fun Easter egg. They all have a dude named Sid.
Yeah. My Sid was Final Fantasy X. That's my Sid because that was he's now been usurped by Final Fantasy 16 Sid, who's hot as fuck.
Hey.
But yeah, my first Sid was Final Fantasy X.
All right.
Yeah, just throwing that
Yep.
out there.
Hey, man.
And then Kingdom Hearts. So
Hell yeah. Oh, so yeah, so you defeat him. Like literally, the only attack you have is Cloud's like level 4 limit break.
yeah,
That's the only thing you can hit him, and you do. And the game ends. You have defeated Sephiroth. You have symbolically moved on from your past, while also saving the world.
Cloud Strife Mania.
Like, I'm not sure how much of a higher note you're ending on, but there you are.
No.
Yeah. So I had to go with my heart on that one. That is fucking that is my favorite boss fight of all time. If I'm pretty sure I sold a bunch of my PS1 games. So I sold Xenogears, I sold Metal Gear Solid, and I sold some other games. I'm hanging on to Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Like,
You fucking have to.
I'm going to be fucking buried with that game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There
it
is
even has my
and I mean, fuck off, Siri. You fuck. There is a
Siri.
company. The only thing that I would, if you're never gonna play it again, but you want to keep it, there is a company called Frame a Game, who makes custom frames with like the case and the cover and everything with the actual game itself, and they make a really beautiful framed version of it. So I don't know if they do hey, let me send this to you and you can, I'll pay you money, you do it, you send it back. But yeah, I guarantee that they would make a beautiful Final Fantasy VII display.
I would love to do that. And
yeah, but yeah, Frame a Game. I've seen a bunch of their stuff and looks really great. They don't sponsor us, but they could.
No, they'd be tight if they did. But I want if I do that, they would have to use the actual physical game case, because back in the day, I was in PlayStation Underground. So my member ID number came on a sticker, and I slapped it right on the front of that thing.
Shit! Yeah.
Okay.
I think from what I've seen of their stuff, and to be fair, a lot of what I've seen has been more recent, Xbox 360 era and above. So they have the actual full game case in the frame, with the disc next to it. And I know that the PS1 specifically for Final Fantasy VII is the double wide.
Yep. It was a 3-disc game.
Yeah. Now, that might be the most incredible boss fight of all time.
Because it did come with just is he dead? Why is there orchestral music?
Mm-hmm.
Are those lyrics in Latin? Oh shit! Is that Kenny Omega?
Now, in most years, that would be the main event of WrestleMania. But
I understand.
Every once in a while, there's a match that's so big that's not for a title or anything, but just because the people that are in it are bigger than wrestling itself. And that's what our main event is here tonight.
Is it NWO ambling down the ramp towards the Generation X.
No, it's not Triple H versus Sting in the one of the worst goddamn matches. That match, the only thing that would have made that a little better is if it wasn't fucking bright as fuck because it's in the middle of the day. That whole Mania sucked with until the
Yeah,
very
that was
end.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, like don't put it in the day. This is not
like
a fucking boxing match. Please no.
the
It is a
fucking
nighttime
Undertaker
match.
Bray Wyatt match was in the middle of the fucking day.
No.
And
Like, God, no.
side note, there was actually a recent interview with Undertaker. He said
Yeah.
it shouldn't have been Lesnar that broke his streak. It should have been Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that would have been way fucking better.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, if Bray Wyatt beat the streak, first off, it would have been better for like his character, and then
Yeah.
something about like our characters then could have like intertwined to become like a higher being type thing, which sounds dumb as shit, but for a character that's a dead person who's come back to life and a character Bray Wyatt who's like a fucking cult leader, like it makes perfect sense. But there's one this, and I'm not even saying the boss fight is more epic, but the actual WrestleMania match is more epic than Kofi Mania, Cloud Strife Mania. So the boss fight is from Yakuza Like a Dragon. Okay, which is the 7th game in the Yakuza / Like a Dragon series. And I say that because in the West, it was called Yakuza 1 through 6, and then Yakuza Like a Dragon. In Japan, it's always been called, I think, like, actually, translated, it's been called Like a Dragon for the entire series. So the 7th game in the series was Yakuza Like a Dragon, and now every game that's coming out in the West after that is now called Like a Dragon. So there was Yakuza Like a Dragon, and now there's Like a Dragon Ishin, and then Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who fucked something, I forget the full, it's a long title. And now the most recent one, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. But we're referring right now to the 7th game in the series, Yakuza Like a Dragon. The main character of that game is Ichiban Kasuga, who is a dumb puppy, and I've only had Ichiban for a day, but if anything happens to him, I'll kill everybody in this room and then myself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's the main character of this game. The main character of the previous 6 games in the series is Kazuma Kiryu. Which, if you think of Yakuza, there's a good chance that you'd think of him, or you'd think of Majima, who's a dude with a fucking jacket with no shirt and an eye patch, but whatever. But the main character of the older games was Kazuma Kiryu. So in Yakuza Like a Dragon, in the penultimate chapter 14, it's actually called Passing the Torch. And story stuff happens where Ichiban is essentially kind of like pushed over the limit, and he's getting into a kind of a craze where he shouldn't be in. And in order to go forward, he has to then fight Kazuma Kiryu, who at this point was assumed to be dead. So there's this epic boss fight between the new guy and, the old guard. And it's a great fight. And they're not fighting because one is, Ichiban's not fighting him because he wants to, take the throne or anything. And Kiryu's not fighting Ichiban because he's like, this guy's like, they're fighting for respect and for the honor of fighting, because they both know kind of what's at stake. And at the, in the grand scheme of things, Ichiban, it kind of helps him to realize, okay, this is, I need to be on this right path. And now there's Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, where they are working together. They're friends. So the actual boss fight itself, it's epic, especially in the the grand scheme of the Like a Dragon series, but it's not Cloud Sephiroth. But the WrestleMania main event, a match that would go on after anything else in the card. WrestleMania 27, once in a lifetime, even though it then happened the next year, but we forget about that. Once in a lifetime, John Cena versus The Rock.
Oh,
You're not going to put anything else behind that. John Cena, the
No,
top guy of the
can't.
ruthless aggression / PG era, fucking John Cena versus The Rock, the guy from the Attitude Era, along with Stone Cold. These two fucking heavyweights. You could honestly, you could either do this, or you could also do The Rock Hulk Hogan, but fuck Hulk Hogan.
For real,
John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 28. Sorry, not 27. 28. Build is once in a lifetime. The build was insane. The build started the night after WrestleMania 27. So a full year prior, the Raw after WrestleMania 27, John Cena challenges The Rock to the main event of WrestleMania 28. And it's not a match for titles. There's no title on the line. It's just The Rock versus John Cena. Just two wrestlers fighting it out to see who's the best. A passing of the torch. Even though in that case, The Rock won, and then they wrestled with each other again the next year for the WWE Championship that The Rock won from CM Punk and fucked everything up and ruined a lot of things. But that first year, you're not going to put anybody above The Rock versus John Cena. Not even Cloud versus Sephiroth.
I mean, I'll give it to you.
Sorry. Yeah.
Man. No, the
fact that if anybody's listening to this who doesn't watch wrestling will hear John Cena and The Rock and be like, yeah, I know those guys.
Yeah, the actors.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
and he's just like, oh. Yeah, no. They had a life before the big screen.
Yeah. And
it was
The Rock is wrestling this year at WrestleMania in a tag team match on night 1 that will determine what type of match happens on night 2. And in my heart of hearts, I'm saying that nobody would, be above The Rock on the card. I want that to be the first match on WrestleMania night 1, that tag match.
Oh, that would be great.
Like, I want that to be, that's the opening to WrestleMania weekend, is this massive tag match. And then the end of it happens because of what happens right there.
Yeah. It just builds all this tension.
Yeah. But
then, oof. Yeah. I don't know. They could definitely take away from everything happening between those two matches, though.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't necessarily think so, because it's either that happens and you're saying that takes away from everything that happens in between. Okay?
Yeah.
But conversely, it's like, okay, that's going to be the main event of night 1. That is going to distract from everything that happens before it.
True.
If that's the first thing that happens, and we have that massive thing kind of, boom, everybody's fucking stoked, everyone's ready, we know what's happening on night 2, let's enjoy the next, 5-6 total hours of wrestling.
Hand me that $17 beer, buddy. Let's go.
Fucking, how much was it last year? Last year, I remember last year, they had, because I think it's actually brewed really close to the stadium in LA, they had Stone Cold's, did that come through the mic?
No.
Jesus, there's goddamn street racers outside. But they had Stone Cold. Stone Cold has like a beer company, or he's got like a beer brand with a local LA company called Stone Cold's Broken Skull. And there's an IPA and an American lager. And in the stadium, they had both of those on tap.
Hell yeah.
So they also, because it was at the LA Rams Stadium, they had an LA Rams, I forget, it was either a lager or it was a Pilsner or something, but it was like, just one of those things where it's like a random beer and it's like, oh, LA Rams beer. And I remember going up on night 2 and talking to the woman there, and she was super nice. She was very great. We were like talking while we were getting beers and everything. And I was like, yeah, can I get one of these LA Rams beers? And they came in these like fucking, and I actually still have the cups. Do I?
Yeah.
No, never mind. That was a different one. But that was Vegas. But they come like, so I'm like, yeah, I just want one of these LA Rams beers. I want to try it out. It's going to be cool. Whatever. And she's like, yeah. and it was like $15 or whatever, probably more. And as she charges me, or like we're talking and everything, she grabs a cup and she's pouring it, and she's like, yeah, I'm not really into wrestling, but like I love working here. I'm a Raiders fan, even though I work here, but it's fun, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. She pours a beer and she puts it on the table and she's like, yeah, you know what? And I've just been like working in this place since it opened, and I just love it here. It's so great. It's great to work here. It's awesome. $40. And she had poured me 2 beers.
Oh no.
And at that point I'm like, okay, here's money. And I just walk up to my seat with 2 beers, and my friends just look at me. They're like, what the fuck? Why'd you buy 2 beers? I'm like, I didn't. I mean, I did, but I didn't. I didn't want to say no.
Me too.
Like,
how could I say?
I didn't want to be like, I
so
don't
nice.
want one. So like my friend who will remain nameless is like, give me one. I'll drink it for you. And I was like, all right. So, because he didn't want me to get too drunk.
True friend right there.
I mean, that's all I had. That's all I had was that 1 beer that night. But the night before, I did have or actually, no, they didn't have it on tap, but they had it in cans, and they had it in cans out in like the outside, the almost tailgate area. So I bought a couple of those, and I was just walking around outside SoFi Stadium with like a Stone Cold beer, just like, it's cool as shit.
Awesome.
And that's where I met a bunch of the kind of funny guys. So,
hell yeah, very nice. Look at that, right there on the hand.
Shit. Well,
Beauty.
Mike, this has been a fucking blast.
What a good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we are at the hour 17-minute mark. We don't want to keep our friends here for too long, especially if they hate wrestling. So This new overlay doesn't have all the things there. So tell everybody your Twitch handle and everything.
So on Twitch and Facebook and Instagram, I am Nerding for Beginners. Twitch, we stream 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Schedule's been pretty static for a while. Usually Rocket League, something on Wednesday, where it's really, I don't know, it ends up breaking us, and we have to pivot to another game. And then, Thursdays, lately been a lot of Helldivers, so really just a evening for the bros. So,
yeah,
got that. Been posting reels and everything on our Instagram and Facebook and YouTube channel. So that is all there. Just search Nerding for Beginners. You will find us. We are there. Working on the TikTok. I want to bring that back. So There is a Beginners TikTok out there. I got locked out because it got hacked. And so, it is not me. So we'll make an announcement when the TikTok comes back.
Yep.
So
Nerding for Beginners, all spelled out, all one word. Follow him on Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook. I think Facebook it's 3 words because you can actually do 3 words. But yeah.
But I mean, even if you get on like Instagram and search Nerding space Beginners,
you'll find it there. You'll
find
find it. Yeah. I am over on Twitch, Mr_Hawks, HOX182. I stream whenever the fuck I want to stream. Also on Twitter, Mr_Hawks, and this podcast is on Twitter at StoryMotorsPod over on Twitter. So go ahead and give us a follow. Give us a like on YouTube and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. And, thank you for hanging out. We will see y'all next week. Mike, do you want to say goodbye to the folks while I start our outro music?
Bye, folks. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Love you.
Be safe.
I hope this goes to the correct screen for our new thingamajigger. Let's see here. So, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.